when you start looking at the detail of Prince Harry's testimony today, I mean, the headlines make it all look very positive. The detail can make it look a little bit negative, but I think it's not. I think Harry still is done as proud. Let me go through it. So we've got the paparazzi, and whether Harry has actually given enough evidence to nail them. I don't think he has, but I think he's given enough evidence to make their behaviour as hackers plausible. So it's about whether it's plausible rather than is there a smoking gun. There is no smoking gun, because how would Harry have a smoking gun? He's not a paparazzi. He's not a newspaper editor. It's up to the court to determine whether or not the newspaper editors are lying. All Harry can do, really, is judge from the experience of seeing things in print that shouldn't be there. Rather like when his mother, Princess Diana, had confided to her sister, the only person who she told the secret to, and it appeared in the newspapers. Immediately she must have thought it was her sister who was betraying her, but not if there was a hacker listening to her phone messages or listening in. And I think that level of paranoia dominated the testimony today, and could be dismissed as paranoia. But the fact that you are paranoid doesn't mean that you don't have reason to be paranoid. And that's something that I hope the court will bear in mind. So is 132, Harry has broken 132 years old fact. I mean, for 132 years, no royal has been in the witness box. And Harry has broken that tradition. And he produced a 55-page statement. There were 143 articles referenced, and the Mirror seized on 33, or Harry seized on 33. The testimony started with an acknowledgement that he would like to be called Prince Harry, and Harry nodded. And then what I found quite strange was the court case began with the quizzing by the Mirror barrister rather than by his own. So he gets the nasty bit out of the way first, I suppose. And it starts with an apology from the Mirror group. Andrew Green states that the Mirror group gives an unreserved apology about one incident that should never have happened and will never happen again. But the reality is that it did happen, and if it happened once, it could have happened again. So I think the burden of proof needs to be on the Mirror to demonstrate that it hasn't done it again. So once done, the tools exist, the experience exists. Why wouldn't they do it again? And so if the same level of information is coming out, which is what Harry was providing, then the logic is that they could well have done it again. So that apology, I think, was unwise on the part of the Mirror, because it demonstrates an ability to do the dirty. And it demonstrates an ability to be intrusive and unlawful. Now, of course, what the Mirror will do is to say there's a difference between being intrusive and unlawful. And they might be unlawful, but not intrusive. And they might be intrusive and not unlawful. And then Harry came out with his statement that the government was at rock bottom. Brilliant, Harry. And then he gave away lots of details about royal life. Newspapers in every palace, even the gutter press in every palace. And the press has been hostile to him since he was born. He was shocked by the stories of newspaper, of phone hacking. He was shocked. And his statement that some of the editors and journalists have blood on their hands, particularly when you think of his mother, the Princess of Wales. It was the newspapers played a destructive role in his growing up, and then there was a lot of debate about would he have seen these articles when he was 12, would he have known about them, and so on. And who would have? Was there anybody who might have betrayed him? Could his friends have said things? Well, of course, in Spare, he does say that some of his friends tried to sell secrets. But when one or two of your circle of friends knows something, and that something gets out into the press, your circle of friends diminishes, is what Harry said. And he's simply repeating, really, the experience of his mother. As I say, paranoia. Things are attributed to a pal, a friend, an onlooker, and yet they're probably the work of a hacker. These destructive journalists. So the early part of the testimony was taken up with suggestions that the Press Association already knew things, and therefore the fact that the Mirror was printing a story was not, in fact, something that was sourced through hacking, phone hacking. Now, I think Harry misses a trick here, and I'm sure one of his barristers is going to is going to come in with this. It's not about whether the story was sourced or whether the story emanated from the Press Association or from the Gardener or wherever. It's the details of the story which confirm the hacking. And this didn't seem to be something that was focused on today, because the barrister for the Mirror wanted to establish that the Press Association had already published or had already given information about the gardener who had cancer or something, or the story of the climbing expedition when there was a gala for the Queen Mother. The media already knew these things beforehand, and the Mirror simply followed that story arc. But it's the details which are important, and I think somehow that wasn't focused on. The birthday party, when somebody's walking down the street to the pub. Well, Harry pointed out, I never walk down the street, and photographers tipped off while he was in the pub. I think that's perfectly reasonable. That sounds like phone hacking to me. The broken thumb. Who betrayed that story? And both Harry, in a sense, and the Mirror person were trying to suggest that it was a guessing game. It could have been anybody. That's not the game he should have been playing. That's not. So he was playing very much the game which was being set up by the barrister. The game he should have played, and I'm rather sorry, maybe he wasn't properly advised, but there's still time to go. The game he should have played is detail. The details were things that nobody could have known. The smoking cannabis story. Harry took drugs. Cool it, Harry. Posted in on January the 13th, 2002. Again, the barrister was very keen to point out that other newspapers are reporting this as well. So all of this leaves him very uncertain and paranoid. But I think this is about the possibility of a betrayal of trust. Like the many instances when Princess Diana was hacked and blamed others, for example, her sister, and so on. The only people she thought who knew these things, except that there were editors and hackers listening to the voicemails. I think this is about the possibility of being hacked as one of the credible reasons for the story, as one of the credible sources of the story. And I think that the evidence should not be looking at oh, well, there might be somebody else, some unknown person who could have passed on the story. Occam's razor. Oh, yeah, the sweets no longer exist on the table because an imaginary rabbit ate them. Oh, come on. You've got sweet stains all over your mouth. Occam's razor. We don't necessarily need to see the sweets going in to know that you've eaten them, because there is no imaginary rabbit. And we know that there is phone hacking because the Mirror started the entire process, because Andrew Green started the entire process by apologising and therefore acknowledging that the Mirror has indulged in the dark arts of phone tapping. So we know they've done it. So it's not up to Harry to demonstrate facts. They've already admitted the fact. All Harry has to do is demonstrate the possibility or the plausibility. And the Mirror people can say, yes, but it could be somebody else. Yes, it could be my imaginary rabbit. Occam's razor. I was immensely impressed by Harry today. And I think somebody who analyses this information, do you know, the other day I was doing a concert and there was this wonderful fellow called Dean. He's the person with the song Agadoo. And for some reason, I think I had Ocado in my head. I made an announcement about Agado or something. The Agado man is in the building. Let's give a big woo for that. Agado. Yeah. Anyway, when you're in the presence of people you admire, you sometimes say rather silly things, but I can't imagine that Harry's going to do that, because he's not in the presence of people he admires. He's in the presence of shits and harlequins and charlatans, and I'm creating a new word there too, but you know exactly what I meant. Media tykes. Media tykes who burrow around in the garbage, in the waste, like out-of-work rats. And I think Harry did tremendously well. And I wait to see what will happen tomorrow. But at the moment, I think it's all to play for.